Okay, I think we're good. It looks blurry. To you, baby. Okay, I guess it's okay. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. Okay, there we go. Hey. Welcome. Great. To the live. It's 6:12 on Wednesday. Not even that late. Everybody get a 15-minute grace period. Hola, Vencia. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. It's getting darker earlier and earlier. What's up? How are you doing? I'm in a hurry. I had to rush today because I was trying to prepare some stuff for Thanksgiving for tomorrow. So I was trying to prepare some stuff today so I don't have to have a lot to do tomorrow. You say you're tired because of work? So tomorrow you have to work because you work for a Canadian company, correct? So you won't have the day off tomorrow, like most Americans will. I don't know what to do. But yeah, man. So I was rushing today. Rushing, trying to get here. Trying to make sure everything's okay. I was told to speak up since I can't find my mic, and I still don't know what my mic is. Like I thought I put everything in the same spot, but it's not in the same spot. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Canada at the same time. There's a Thanksgiving in Canada. What day or time of the year is Thanksgiving in Canada? Okay, I learn something new every week. Every week I'm on live. I don't know, I try to learn something new every day. I feel like it just makes me a better person to learn something new every day. But yeah, I wanted to do this live today. I thought this was a good topic because a lot of people always ask me, do you feel safe? Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe? And I'm always like, yeah, I feel safe. And you know, it's in October, but it's big. Nobody really celebrates just an extra day off. Okay, I can understand. It's kind of like that to us. Like Thanksgiving is not like celebrated for, I guess, Thanksgiving. Like nobody celebrates it to like honor the pilgrims or anything like that. Like I mean, I'm sure people do. Probably like in the northeast coast, they probably celebrate it for like that purpose. But as far as like us on the, especially people in the South, like we celebrate it for like just the day to get together and eat food and be out of work and get holiday deals. It has no like religious significance that I know of, and yeah, it's not just. I don't know. It's not as big of a deal as I think it used to be a bigger deal, but over time, you know, as people found out stuff about Columbus, and you know, I don't know. Anyway, life has changed. Life has changed. Hi, holistic spirituality. Welcome. So I thought today's topic will be a good topic as the holidays are approaching, and a lot of people will be embarking on solo travel. Also, at the end of the year, beginning of the year, it seems to be a good time for people to spark off on their trips abroad, their moves abroad, things like that. So I wanted to talk about, you know, kind of some safety tips, vulnerabilities that women experience. I can say from women's perspective specifically, is that some of the things, some tips and things that may go on that you may encounter on your trip. And this comes about because I'm looking to travel like in the next couple months abroad as well. And I just kind of looking at like some safety tips. So in my research on YouTube, I came across this woman and she moved to Senegal with her 4 children, a single mom. She moved to Senegal with 4 children. And when she got to Senegal, by the time she landed, she had $167 to her name. This is her story. She is on YouTube. Her name is De La Soul. And and she was saying how she landed in Senegal with $167 to her name. And when she got there, she said it was an older black woman who had been living in Senegal for a while, told her, do not pay us gold, do not collect $200, go back to the States, right? And that's what she told her, right? And she was like, no, I was called here, I was supposed to be here, this is what I'm supposed to do, and she didn't know how she would figure out her next 10 steps. So when she got to the airport, she needed to get cash to pay for a driver to take her to her Airbnb. And the ATM had no money in it because sometimes ATMs run out of money. So the ATM didn't have any money. And she told the guy at the currency exchange that she needed a way to pay for money. And the guy at the currency exchange called the owner of the currency exchange. And the owner of the currency exchange gave her a ride to her Airbnb. Her and her 4 kids late at night when she had just arrived in Senegal, never been in Senegal or anything like that. And it immediately sparked in me today's topic, right? As I am looking for ways to protect myself traveling abroad. My family is concerned about me traveling abroad. They're concerned about everything, child. But anyway, concerned about me traveling abroad. But just looking at ways to protect myself. And I thought about some of the things that I prepared myself for moving here, because her story really sparked concern for me, right? It was her first time out of the country, her first time in Senegal, and a random man took her and her kids to her Airbnb at night. Now, thankfully, they are 3 years into this and they are doing well. And again, her YouTube is De La Soul on YouTube. And, they're doing well, but that's not everyone's case, right? Particularly as women traveling abroad, we have to be wise, okay? So, one of the things I always do is, even when I went to Thailand with my baby a couple years ago, they would always ask me, where's the big boss at? And I would always say, oh, he's in the room working, right? So there was the assumption that there was always some random man on vacation with me. There was no man there, but it was like, oh, he's in the room working. We're gonna meet up with him later for dinner, or whatnot. And they'd be like, oh, okay, because of course, in a lot of countries and a lot of cultures, a woman just having the money to fund her own travels is not usual. So they automatically assume that some man funded my travels. I wear this ring. It's on my right hand. It's on my right hand, but I oftentimes, if I feel like I'm in a sketchy situation, I just switch it over to my left hand. Like, I just switch it to my left hand and I'll call it a day, right? And it just gives this faux protection, right? As much as I am larger than a lot of men in Asia, in Mexico, and a lot of Latin American countries, it's still just the thing of having some kind of faux safety, right? So another thing is, if you ever feel like you're in an unsafe situation, make sure you're sharing your location, right? You should always share your location with somebody. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't need people in my business, yada, 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 woo, woo, woo. I'm sharing my location with a whole bunch of people. Like, I'm grown, they can't tell me not to go. But if I get to a location that's not my house and I'm there for too long, they know to check on me or to send the authorities to come look for me, right? Because something that's unusual is me not sleeping at my house. I'm always gonna sleep at my house. So they see I'm somewhere longer than I should be, and it's not a planned or scheduled travel or excursion or something like that, they know to check in with me to see what's up or to contact the authorities. All right. So make sure you're communicating your location with somebody. And I don't even know if I want to say one somebody or a couple somebodies, right? Like, I think it's best that multiple people know where you are. Also, they know who you're with. Now, as a solo woman, sometimes we go off on excursions that may not be, you know what I'm saying? You might be just on your late night tip. You might be trying to tiptoe to somebody else's dough. All right. Even then, somebody still needs to know where you're at. Somebody needs to know who you're tiptoeing with. The basic information. The guy I'm dating now, when I went out with him, first thing I did was took a photo of his front license plate when he pulled up at my friend's house. I took a picture of it. I think I texted to B Michelle, and I texted to my other friend Chantel, because they knew I was going on a date, what time I was going, and when I was supposed to get back, right? So they have the basic information, all the information that I knew about him at the time, which was just the Facebook page or YouTube page, or not YouTube, Instagram page, a name, and that was about it. That's all we had at the time of the first date, right? So it's not to be like, oh, I'm not, some guys be like, oh, if a woman wants to take a picture of my license plate or my driver's license, yada, 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 I ain't going with her. That's fine. Don't go with that guy. Because if that guy doesn't seem to care enough about your safety or what makes you feel comfortable, then you probably shouldn't be with them. All right? That's just what it comes down to. And when it comes down to, other vulnerabilities, also like talking to people, right? And some people think it's only men that are targeting women. And that's so not true. A lot of times they send in another woman or a younger woman or an older woman, someone that's going to be disarming, someone that you're going to let your guard down with, someone that's easy to talk to, or something like that. They're going to make you feel comfortable. And then you start just revealing all this stuff about you. Oh, I do this, I work here, and I just got a promotion, I make this amount of money. Hi, Carlos, how are you? This amount of money. And people just start sharing so much information because they feel comfortable with that person. I even know here people have been like, oh, I saw this person and they were like, hey, can I come in because, I'm thinking about moving to this area and I just want to see what your house looks like. No, you can't come in my house. I'd be like, no, I mean, it's a house around the corner and I think they got an open house down the street or something for rent around the corner. But, people get so trusting, especially if they feel it's another woman or a woman with a child or a child, or older people, and they go to letting their guard down. You should keep the same level of security with everybody, okay? You should keep the same level of security with everybody, to include WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, social circles, social meetups, and things like that. All that stuff is your business, all right? All that stuff is your business. Very few people here know my real name, right? My government name, know me outside of Kitty. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Kitty is fine with me. I like Kitty. But they don't need to know everything about me. They don't need to be able to go back and, trace my whole life. And, I was in the military, so if you search parts of my name, you're going to see my military history and interviews I've done, or, articles from the LA Times from work I've done, things like that. So that's not important, right? You don't need to find out those things about me because that's not pertinent to my life success here in Merida or abroad. All right. So let me go through and read some of these comments because I see y'all was rolling while I was running my mouth. All right, happy pre-Thanksgiving to everybody. Travel. Hey, Kinetics, welcome in. Yeah, you always got a friend. Yeah, a friend is another one. Oh, I'm meeting my friend somewhere. The expectation that you're gonna meet somebody, somebody's waiting on you, somebody, a man or a husband or a family, the expectation that somebody's waiting on you, because the most vulnerable people are the people that no one wants, right? Or that they think no one wants, that no one's looking for, the throwaways are what I like to call them. I never use my real name on the internet. Using alias. Yeah, that's the best. The internet is the craziest place anyway. You always want to use. You always want to, like, yeah, of course, be honest, and be transparent to the point of protecting your safety, right? The reality is everybody want to keep it so real, right? And then keeping it so real to the point so where they can go back and figure out who your second grade teacher was. It's not that important. I promise you, it's not that important of being so real that people can go back and find all this information about you. So again, when it comes down to the being out and being vulnerable, when you're getting in things like taxis, I don't do taxis. If I can't help it, I do not do a taxi, because of the simple fact that I don't have like that additional level of tracking. Like when you're in Uber, if you're stuck in traffic too long, they say, hey, we noticed you've been stopped for an extended period of time. Are you okay? Yes or no? Right? So, just having that extra layer of security because you're in a monitored platform, opposed to just getting in a taxi, and be like, oh, can you take me here? Can you take me there? But you don't know where you're going. So they could just take you anywhere. When you're on the phone, they have these faux scripts that you play on the phone, like, oh, hey, yeah, I think I'm almost there. I'm passing this blue church, or I'm passing this house that looks like it has llamas in the front yard. Communicate something, even if it's a faux phone call. Your phone can be dead, or pretend like you're asking a driver something like, hey, is there an OXO up on this corner? Something to try and say, okay, the driver said it's an OXO on this corner, or something like that, to try and let them know that somebody is expecting you. And as far as like the throwaway people, it comes down to it. The most vulnerable people are women and children, women, the elderly. Okay, those are the most vulnerable populations. And in addition to those populations being vulnerable, they're also the least sought after if they come from areas that are less stable. Whether they come from countries that are not stable, families that are not stable, relationships that are not stable, and other, like financially unstable, mentally unstable. Those groups of people are the target demographic for people when it comes to exploitation. Okay, so if you find yourself in a situation where you don't feel safe, and you feel like that you need to contact somebody, the best thing to do is just find a security guard, find a police officer or something, right? Because you don't want to. Damn it, I forgot to bring my my laptop. Oh, never mind, no, girl. All right, there we go. Okay, so if you don't want to find yourself in a situation to where you feel vulnerable and you feel like everything is out of control. All right. The worst thing you can do is, at that time, at the point of feeling vulnerable, is to call somebody back home and ask them, what should I do? What can I do? Don't call them. Call 911. Call the local authorities. And I think it's out of comfort that when we end up in tough situations, the first thing people look for is someone that feels familiar to them. Okay, so that could also lead you into like another target person. So if you're feeling stressed, like to say this man is acting weird towards you, da 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 da, and then there's a woman around, she could be like, oh my God, let me help you, and she may not be the person that's going to offer you any help. Charles said you'll be back in Merida the first or second week of December. Okay. Well, we'll still be here partying the first or second week in December. All right. So if anybody have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below. I'll tell y'all the second time I came to Merida, which was the first time I came with my daughter and my dog. the taxi driver took me a completely different way to my house than I had remembered getting to my house, right? And I had the GPS pulled up on my phone so I could look like where he was driving. But you know, like Apple Maps or I don't know, whatever maps will tell you like one specific route, right? But like the local drivers, they know like, okay, I can get off here and like shave some time, this, that, and the third, right? And so the guy is like getting off, and I'm like, no, no, this ain't it, this ain't it, this ain't it. And he's like, it's okay, like this is a better route. And I'm just like looking, because I can read a map, because I can read a map really well. And I'm like reading the map, and I'm like about to flip out. Like I'm prepared, like, all right, I'm just hitting with my backpack. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit him over the head and just gonna wreck the van with all us in it, and that's just what I'm gonna do because I don't know where he's taking me, right? In reality, he just took me a better route to my house at the time. But because it was unfamiliar, I, in my mind, was prepared to fight this man because I thought he was, you know, taking me somewhere sketchy. He wasn't taking me anywhere sketchy, but in my mind, I thought he was, I thought he was taking me somewhere sketchy. Stop. I thought he was taking me somewhere sketchy, but he wasn't. Okay, so you know, just think about that. You know, as you're traveling around with other people. Another thing you can do is try to travel in a group. All right, and I know some people hate group trips. I personally hate group trips. I hate group trips, right? So even if you're a solo person and you go out and you're traveling by yourself and you had an opportunity to go on an excursion with a group, I think it's better to go on an excursion with a group instead of going on an excursion by yourself for safety reasons only, not for say experience reasons, okay? Because let's just be honest, when you mix a whole bunch of different personalities and expectations on a trip, you don't know what you're gonna get, right? Some people wanna, you know, eat lunch first. Some people want to eat lunch second. Some people don't want to eat at all. Some people are vegan. Some people, you know, all these different things. You know what I'm saying? It's always something to why somebody doesn't want to do anything, and the trip provider is trying to find a way to accommodate a whole bunch of people in just a smaller or designated space, right? So, however, if something happens, say you go out on a hiking trip and someone breaks a leg or falls into a ditch or something, strength in numbers, right? You're better off with a larger group of people having safeties, you know, opposed to just going out on an excursion, just you and in an individual tour guide, you know. I think that's it's wise to go in groups then. I'm not opposed to solo travel. I solo travel to Guatemala. I solo travel to Mexico City, London. I think that's it. Solo. I came here by myself, but you know, I've solo traveled. But even then, when thinking about it, when going out on activities that are outside of the resort or outside of your, you know, say normal operating areas where it may be more remote or things like that, it's best to go in a group instead of on an individual, independent level. I know we see on TikTok nowadays, everybody is like pro solo travel, like solo travel, solo travel, solo travel. And I'm here for it because I do feel like you have more control over where your money's going, what activities you're gonna do. You know, you have more control over your accommodations, things of that nature, and you can get something tailored to exactly to what you want. However, when it comes to safety, a lot of people say, oh, you know, places I felt safe as a black woman, and name all these places that they felt safe as a black woman. And then the reality is, if you look at it, those places aren't safe for anybody, really. You know, they're not like say not safe, but if you stay on the tourist path specifically, you stay in the tourist zone, you stay in the recommended region, hotels, things of that nature, then yeah, anybody will generally feel safe in those areas. But it's just the reality that they're not saying that. You know, TikTok and YouTube, they're not saying, oh, I felt safe in this place, you know, and I had the most amazing time and people treated me great. Yeah, in the tourist zones, everybody's gonna treat you great because they want your money. And they want you to patronize their shops, and they want you to blog about them and take photos of their business and share it on your social media. Yeah, of course, they're gonna treat you great. They're not gonna treat you bad. But it's when you take, when you walk 3 blocks over and you're like, oh shit, this is sketchy as hell. Nobody ever tells that part of the story. And I think it's most important that we use common sense. And I would say use common sense, but common sense ain't very common. Is one thing that I've learned. The more and more I see that people are making great moves abroad with limited resources, moves abroad without telling their family or friends, and just up and just doing it. And I'm here for it. However, when it comes down to it, it's a safety issue. If you are injured in that country, who's going to know that you're there? Who's going to know who to contact? Who there is going to know who to contact back in the States to let them know that you're injured, that you're sick, or that you're dead? Like, you have to communicate something with someone somewhere. You can't just go off on your own. You can, I don't recommend it, but you can. However, you have to think of the bigger picture. And I feel like a lot of times, people who move abroad, we have this wanderlust. We have this desire to want to see more. Like, with my upcoming trip, I'm like obsessed, child. I have been watching YouTube videos and reading articles, reading all the good. What's the best clubs? What's the best food? What's the best place to get my hair done? I've been researching everything good and also researching the bad. Like, why are the roads like that? What are the schools like? What are the slums? Why is the electricity an issue? What's the water like? What are common diseases? Why do you have to take certain vaccinations? Things like that. I'm reading and figuring all this stuff out. Now, typically, I give myself a lot more time in planning before planning a trip, but this trip is coming up faster than I expected. So that means I have to crash course learn a lot about the culture, about the people before I go there. And I feel like a lot of people watch a YouTube video or a TikTok, or they heard a friend of a friend, and they just like, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it too, which is cool. However, you still have to do your own research, because even the information, like, people are still following on a TikTok that I made almost 2 years ago now. They're looking at that TikTok like, oh my God, it's great, I'm moving to Mexico. And the reality is, even in that TikTok, it's not a lie. It's the truth for last year. It was the truth last year. Was it last year? 2020. Yeah, it was the truth in 2022. However, that is not the case right now due to the currency conversion. So when it was going 20 to 1 back in the day, it's not going 20 to 1 now. I think it took a dip the other day. It's like 17.5 or something to 1. So things change, and you have to search for the most accurate information before you go there. That's another way to make sure you're safe, because even travel warnings can change. Like, some areas could be, the State Department can say it's a level 1 travel, and then something jumps off, war could break out in the region, and next you think it's a level 3 or a level 2 before where it was a level 1, right? But you have to do your research and kind of know what's going on economically and politically before you go there. Again, women, children, and the elderly are the most vulnerable group when traveling. So you have to do the best you can to protect yourself so that you don't become a victim. Now, some cases it's gonna be, you're not gonna have no control of it. You know what I'm saying? If they just mass shooting, something like in the US, crazy shit, you could just be going to the mall and something pop off. You have no control over that. Like, I feel like the US should be like a level 2 or level 3. I don't feel like it should be a number. I don't feel like it's safe to go to the US given like the mass shootings and how unpredictable they are. I feel like, I feel like the travel advisory should be a little higher for the US, because when I was there a few weeks ago, I felt less safe. I felt less safe there than I felt here. And I feel like they don't tell the truth about it because some people are so obsessed with like going to the U.S., the U.S., the U.S., the U.S., the U.S. When in reality, the U.S. is just not safe. Everybody got a gun there, like everybody got a gun. You know, so it's less safe in my opinion than it is traveling to some other countries. Most videos on YouTube about Merida are old and out of date. Yes, a lot of videos on YouTube about Merida are old and out of date. That is very accurate. I mean, even before, I remember saying you couldn't pay your electric bill online with a credit card, you know, but now you can. You know, now you can pay your electric bill, you can pay your water bill online with a credit card. You can pay it through Rappi. There are a lot of different things that are out of date. Also, I feel like the rise of Merida's success on YouTube came during the coronavirus time, you know, COVID times, where a lot of people were making videos and also a lot of people were traveling at that time to Merida. And I feel like that was kind of like the peak of when Merida kind of got its fame on YouTube. And even then, I mean, COVID restrictions haven't been in place since like September last year or something like that. And so even then, things have changed so much. I mean, even the, you know, rental process has changed so much in, you know, the last year when I did my first rental to this year when I'm doing my rental, you know, and a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed in the climate and acceptance of expats or foreigners here in Merida as well. Like things have changed because more people that came here and it's kind of just changed like what's normal procedures for accepting expats that come into Merida, you know. So yeah, it's out of date and every situation doesn't apply to everybody. Like I can't give information on driving a car here. I've never driven in Merida. I've never driven, not one time. I just got my driver's license back 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't know, something like that. In the last 30 days, right? I have not driven in Merida, so I cannot give any advice on driving in Merida. I can't give any advice on schools in Merida, even though I'm a mom or whatnot. I can't give any advice on those things in Merida. So every YouTuber will have different experiences than other people, right? So when it comes down to it, you're gonna have to do more research on your own outside of YouTube, right? I hate driving to Merida. I can believe that. Yeah, Merida's driving is one thing that scares me. Like I wanted to go look for a car this week, but I'm so terrified to drive. I feel like putting off looking for a car gives me gives me more time to kind of like address the whole address the whole driving in Merida thing, you know. I've driven up. Charles says, I've driven all over Mexico and Merida is the worst. I have only driven Tijuana, Rosarito, you know, that little highway there. That's the only driving I've done in Mexico. It was fine, you know, it's a little congested, you know, the roads was narrow, but it was okay, you know, nothing, you know, saying nothing too crazy. But here, I don't, listen, I'm here, I used to see people driving on like the dirt and they'll get out on a shoulder and then they'll jump back on. And then like, if you're going and you're following the rules, they'll like honk at you and like, it's a disaster. I'm scared. I'm honestly scared to drive here. But you can't use my experience because there's tons of people who drive here. Tons of people who drive here. There are a lot of sketchy on the net. They are not honest. Oh, okay. So it's a personal conversation. My bad. But yeah, I mean, everyone's experience is not going to be the same. The best thing you can do is try to prepare yourself to prevent any issues. Now, I'm not saying like drive yourself crazy trying to prevent everything. Like, don't put yourself in bubble wrap. But the more you know, the better off you're going to be. You know what I'm saying? I think the more you know, the better you're able to prepare yourself if any issues were to arise. People can't drive in America. People in America drive really fast, but the stops are so short. Like, I, for the life of me, can't figure out why. I used to live on a one-way street, and I was like the fifth house. You should not even, maybe even get to second gear, but they would be like all the way at fourth, and I'm like, you need to stop here, padaki, and they'd be like, oh, okay, and they stop. By the time they stop, we three houses past my house, so now they're reversing on a one way to back up to my house. It's just like, if you had just slowed down, like, you you wouldn't have passed my house in the first place. Like, it's crazy, but I think it's because there's this hurry up to go somewhere, go nowhere fast here, and it's ridiculous. I'm starving so bad. I don't just want to get something to eat. So yeah, so those are some of the other things I want to talk about. So I talked about financial. I forgot my laptop, y'all. I forgot my notes upstairs, but I'm not going back upstairs. I'm too lazy, because if I go upstairs, I'm not coming back down. The other thing I want to, oh, okay. Also, when you meeting people abroad, right? I think one thing that people, that people do is they get somewhere and they find somebody like, oh, this person is so cool, right? And the next thing they want to do is, let's move in together. Everybody wants to move in together. Let's move in together, right? Move in together, and then 10 days later, they're like, I hate this person. Like, I want to throw this person over the balcony, drown them in the pool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to, because when you get somewhere, you're seeking familiarity, right? You're seeking something that feels familiar, right? So naturally, people gravitate towards other people that look like them, talk like them, act like them, people that are similar, right? And when they get into those situations, they don't think so much with their rational mind as much as they think with their emotions. Like, oh, like, she's she's another black woman, and we come from similar places, and we got similar taste in food and music and hair care products or whatever. And so boom, naturally there's this assumption that we're going to be the best of friends, right? When in reality, that's not the case, because this person, when people initially meet each other, everybody shows up with their public persona, right? Their public self, right? And they don't show up with like their real true person, how they are. You never know. This person could cuss like a sailor, could be dirty, they could be, they can have men or women in and out the house, they can have a dog that they don't clean up behind. You never know. It could be any number of things. The reason why you don't like this person. This person snores really loud. This person, try anything. It could be, for me, it could be something. It could be something so little. I don't know. My daughter drives me insane. You know what I'm saying? Leaving milk in her cereal bowls. That drives me insane. If it had been an adult person, I don't know. I might be over the edge. When I was married, I used to hate that my ex-husband left his shoes in the middle of the floor. Like, it was how I felt like throwing them in the trash. Like, I really was thinking, like, I would throw this shoe in the trash. I don't know how much this shoe cost, but I would still throw it in the trash, because why did you leave it here? Like, why'd you do that? So imagine, you moving in with somebody and they have like these little habits or these little icks. They get on your nerves, and now you're stuck trying to live together, right? So becoming vulnerable, you can become homeless, right? There have been stories of people getting to Merida, and they've made connections with people that they want to be friends with, or they thought, oh, we had a vibe through a WhatsApp group, or a vibe through a Facebook group or YouTube or something. They get there, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna live together for a little bit. And they get there, and that person had planned, okay, I'm gonna live with this person for XYZ amount of time until I can get to this financial step, or I'm waiting on something to come through. and it doesn't work out for them because living with that person was more of a stress, a more of a stressor than it was a benefit to them. And so now they're Airbnb hopping or trying to find somebody else to move in with or something like that, and it becomes more of a hassle. And so I think that it's best to, when you get somewhere, is try to find a place that can be stably yours on your own. Again, so you're not vulnerable to homelessness or, you know, other person's abuses. And you also have a stable place where you can feel safe, a place where you can go in and you can lock all the doors, and you can, I don't care if it's just a little corner, a little studio or something. Try to find some place where you can feel safe and secure on your own. You know that your things won't get stolen, right? A lot of people, when they do the room shares or the house shares, the biggest thing is things coming up missing, all right? And, you know, passports and debit cards and identity theft is another big thing. And people end up again in these vulnerable situations. One day they had plenty of money to travel, and next thing you know, they're calling their parents back home like, "Can you Western Union me $50 so I can get something to eat?" So think about that. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow your emotions to override your sensibilities to protecting yourself. See, grown women decided to move in together equals disaster. Now, I agree. I agree. I agree with that. But I know that a lot of people won't agree with that, and they, you know, they'll say that's what's wrong with the black community and everything. But the reality comes down to it. I just think once it gets to a certain point that two women just can't cook in the same kitchen. Like it just doesn't work. You know, it just doesn't work. Woman operates her house differently. You know, and so with that being in mind, you can't tell, especially if somebody else is paying rent, you can't necessarily tell them how to live where they pay rent at. So I think that's where the conflict will come from. We can live in the same building but different apartment. I don't even want to live in the same building, y'all. I'm telling you, like, I don't want. It's probably, I don't know. It's less than a handful of people I want to live in. I want to live in my provider. Now the provider across the street, yeah, I can go live over there. But the same one I'm living in, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like the peace and the privacy of being out here on my own. Now I know it's some other black people in my provider now. I do. And I've seen them. I don't know if they've seen me because they live at the front and I live at the back. And I've seen them out. But I don't know if they know me, but I seen them. But I'm gonna stay on my end of the provider. They stay on their end of the provider. And I think we'll be okay. I really do. I think we gonna be okay as long as, you know, we mind our corners of the provider. Don't come up here asking to borrow no sugar. That's what I'm saying. Don't come up here asking to borrow no sugar. I mean, I give you some sugar, but you know, it's just what it is. What it is, y'all. I just like my privacy, and that's the other thing. Personalities, right? Like, I have a very private personality. I am a home body. Like, I'm averse to, like, I really don't want to go out all the time. You know, I like to stay home a lot because I like it here. Hello, I live in Guadalajara, thinking of moving there. Okay, why are you thinking of leaving Guadalajara? I hear the food and the men in Guadalajara are great. So I don't know, True Wisdom 13. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. So I don't know what's leading you to leave Guadalajara. I don't like the cold. Yeah, I don't like it cold either. I don't know what y'all talking about, but I don't like it cold either. Okay, so when it comes down to it, we've talked about housing, communication, sharing your location, financial vulnerabilities, staying aware of the current travel advisories that are that the U.S. government puts out. Knowing where the embassy is, knowing that you can know where the consulate is, but the embassy is where you should go if you're in trouble. I'm sure you can go to the consulate too, but the embassy should be your first stop. You can also go to the consulate as well, and just let them know that you're in trouble, and they will help you get home. So please don't think that if you ever are in financial distress or you lost your wallet, lost your passport, all that other stuff, that you are at the will of or the mercy of whoever you're around. No, you can go to the embassy and they will assist you with getting back to the United States. Just more of us there. More of us in Guadalajara or more of us? Are you saying us as in black people or us as in women? I'm so confused. I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's just certain, you know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that you have to think about when you are a solo woman traveling, okay? You know, you have to think about it, all right? I know that in Merida, that there are some women who date for their meals, okay? They date so that they can have somebody take them out to dinner, all right? And that's cool. A lot of women have done that. I think women gonna continue to do that, and I just think it's a thing. But keep in mind what comes down to it, right? There's no one has a right to demand of you as a woman that you should exchange any favors in exchange for money, food, services, transportation, or anything like that. However, we all know the saying: nothing in life is free. All right, so you can only milk them free meals as long as you can milk them free meals, but please keep in mind that your safety is more important than going out to, you know, a nice rooftop restaurant. All right, if you got to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to keep yourself safe, then eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Ain't nothing wrong with no peanut butter and jelly sandwich, though. I'ma just be honest. But if that's what you have to do to keep yourself safe, keep yourself safe. Think, prioritize your safety above all else, particularly single mothers. I know I catch hell on YouTube all the time because I'm always telling people not to move abroad if they are not financially stable. I know I catch hell because you can't tell people where they're called to be. Stop trying to pocket watch folks. You an elitist, a classist, or whatever other bullshit. But the reality comes down to it. You are so vulnerable if you are moving around and you are unable to provide for yourself as well as you are unable to provide for your kids. All right, and you can find yourself in sketchy situations where you might have to do something strange for a little change. And everybody know the song from City High. What would you do if your son was at home crying all alone? Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. All right, put yourself in a situation where you can be stable and you can fully enjoy your travels abroad if you prepare for it, better than just ending up in a situation where you just strike out based on energy, spirit, vibes, juju, whatever it may be, and you end up in a situation where you and your kids are in an unsafe situation. All right. Hey Jimmy, welcome to the live. Merida, yes, black folks. Okay, so Merida black people. All right. I don't know if it's more black people here in Merida than it is in Guadalajara. Not sure. I'm gonna just be honest with that. I think we have a bigger social media presence in Merida than there is in Guadalajara. Just gonna keep it real. I don't think it's more of us here than it is there. And the reason why I say that is because Guadalajara is a lot closer to the border. I mean, it is the border, right? So more people are safer with the proximity to the US opposed to here in Merida. Baby, we a long way away from the border here. You know what I'm saying? We over here in a peninsula, right? Like it's water on three corners. Okay, so and also moving because of the black people, you gonna have to think about that. Like, do you like it hot? Do you like it humid? I don't know if you can see this, but I pressed my hair. My hair is already fluffed up. Like I came downstairs. I think it's because when I misted my face, my hair already fluffed up, baby. Like it's humid here. All right, it's in the 80s. It was in the 80s this morning. I was on the phone with my cousin when I went outside to water my plants. 80 degrees at like 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning. It's hot, okay? And black people, we don't all live on the same block. We don't all live on the same neighborhood. We all don't live in the same subdivision. We don't, you know, you may go out and you may not see a black person. You know, the other day, We went to the zoo. I didn't see no black people at the zoo that day. That was the first time I ever went to the zoo and didn't see black people. But while we were going to get something to eat on Francisco de Mateo, right? No, Paseo de Mateo. When we were going down there, I saw this black woman on a bike tour. Hey, black lady. I'm like, oh, hey, girl. I'm like, hey. And then my boyfriend was like, you know her? I'm like, no, she's just a black woman on a bike. So I said, hey. And like, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to speak to her. But other than that, I haven't seen a black person in like 2 weeks. I guess it's been 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, outside of the people that live here. Yeah, I haven't. So you just have to, you know what I'm saying, you just have to be, used to that. Like, yeah, we're gonna link up. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna be on the beach with a house full of black folks, right? We're gonna have soul food and do Friendsgiving and play games and have drinks and, have a good time tomorrow, but that's tomorrow. And then next week I'll be at a birthday party. So yeah, I'll see people next week, but on my day-to-day life, I don't see black people. I mean, except the black people I brought here with me, my daughter and my boyfriend now. All the black people. 10 hours from the Texas border. We've been living in Mexico 3 years. Oh, there is a lot of black people in Tijuana. I don't know if it's a lot of black people as black American people or black people as in just general overall black people. Because I know there's a lot of Jamaicans and Haitians that are like trying to cross the border through there. I don't look for color when I travel. I look for safety. I'm gonna see y'all there for Friendsgiving. Okay, I'm gonna send you the address. Bring a bottle. I haven't seen black people since the last time I saw you. Exactly. I think that's as I was thinking about it, that don't. Yeah, I think that's the last. No. Last week when we went to get tea, when we went to get boba, when we went to go get boba, we saw a random black man walking down the street. He was like, oh hey, how you doing? Yeah. But that was it. So since 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever the birthday party was, that one black man is the only other black person I have seen here in Mexico, in Merida, and that's okay, right? So I think some people have the misconception because it is a large amount of us on YouTube, on TikTok, our Facebook groups are big and popping, things of that nature. I think so a lot of people feel like, oh my God, it's a lot of us there. I think we're kind of connected. I think we're really good with connecting with one of us and having our, building our networks and things like that. So I do think that that's one thing we are good about here. But daily interactions, child, I always say go to Walmart. If you want to see some black people here in Merida, go to Walmart. If that's, I don't know if you're going to go to Walmart every day because Walmart is expensive here. But, if that's what you need to see black people, you're going to have to go to Walmart or go to Smartium. If your kids go to Smartium, it's a lot of black people at Smartium. There's an activity tomorrow at the beach at Progresso. No, it's just a Friendsgiving amongst moms kind of thing tomorrow. I want to immerse myself in the people there in the country. My daily interactions are always with the locals. Yeah. Hey, but B. Michelle, her Spanish, like when I'm on the phone, I'm like, okay, girl, now you can learn the new word. Her Spanish is greatly improving from 0 to, she probably got about 10 or 15 words in like the 2 months that she's been here because she, she pushes herself to learn more words, and she does. Yeah, she interacts with, non-English speakers every day, child. I see black people all the time in Merida. I don't see the others ever though. You see black people all the time because you come here and you have your specific things that you want to do when when you come to Merida. That's why every day you kicking it with your people when you get here. But when you move here permanently, it's gonna be times where it's gonna be just like, like you and me. It's gonna be the same thing. Like, I ain't seen you in like 2 weeks. It's gonna be like that, But you don't see the others. The other day I tried out B. Michelle's nail shop. She was raving about it. Oh, you know, my nail shop, this, da 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 da. So me and Janai, we went to check it out, because y'all know the last week when I was on live, my nail was all jacked up. So we went there, and we was in a nail shop, and normally we're in a nail shop, and it's just us and the employees, right? We were in there out of nowhere. It was like 4 white people in the nail shop with us. It was so strange because they were like, they kept talking in English. They were not trying to use the translator. It was really weird. But also, like, just the day prior, I believe, we went to Soriana, and we were in Soriana, and the woman was in there, and she's like talking slow and loud to the lady, like in the meat section, and she's like, what kind of cheese is this? And the lady is like, I don't know, you know, and she's like, cheese. What kind of cheese is this? And so the woman's just picking up stuff, like trying to help her. And then I felt so bad for the lady because she wanted to help, but she was just like, you keep talking loud and slow. I still don't know what she's talking about. And so instead of women using translators, I went and I helped her, you know. And she was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, next time, you know, just use your translator on your phone. You can download the Google Translate app and she's like, no, this is gonna help me improve my Spanish. I'm like, you know what? Let me just get my stuff in, because how is it gonna help you improve your Spanish if she has no clue what you're trying to say? You didn't even try to say it in Spanish to her. I can see if you use your translator and then you tried to fumble through the words to tell her, but no, you just kept saying it loud and slow in English, like that was going to change the conversation. And it didn't. It did. But I was surprised because I typically don't see. I only see Mexicans and black people if I'm out. But it was really surprising to see some of the others. Waka has a nice black expat group. The food is better than the climate is mild. And the mild climate is what I have a problem with. I don't like mild climate. I like it toasty. The people in Mexico are very kind and accommodating. They are. And I feel like sometimes it's too accommodating. Like that woman just wanted to help. So she wanted to help her. And the woman just, I felt so bad for her. And I'm like, I hope in the beginning when my Spanish was just, you know, struggle Spanish, I hope I was not this bad. Like, I'm sure I used my translator, but I hope I was not that bad, because it just was crazy. I was just like, that's not helping you. Oh no, not that. If I speak louder, you gotta understand me. Yes, loud and slow. I think she got hurt. She almost got to the point where she was like, what kind? Like just super slow. Like it was gonna help her, but it didn't. Mexico's a nice country when you come visit. As if she would understand what she was saying better. Yeah, it wasn't improving the conversation. And Carlos, I agree. Like, some people love the United States, and I'm like, B. Michelle, stop saying you saw Snoop Dogg here a few days ago, because you did not see Snoop Dogg here. You did not see Snoop Dogg here a few days ago. You didn't. And I know you didn't, because you would have told me if you saw Snoop Dogg here a few days ago. Kinetics, please get your friend. Please get your friend. Let her know she did not see Snoop Dogg here a few days ago. But I think it's the same thing, Carlos. I feel like some people, like me as an American, that's my nationality, I detest the United States, right? Like, I'm not gonna give up my blue book. Like, I'm not gonna give up my passport because, you know, that's mine. But it's like, it's in my opinion, it's such a terrible country. Like, it's really horrible for women's rights. It's horrible for black people, minorities of any sort, child. I mean, black people, but minorities of any sorts, you know. And it's just, you know, it's a very limiting country for a lot of people. And I feel like maybe some of the I feel like some people feel like the United States is a better option, when I feel like, in my opinion, Mexico is a better option. And I feel like, you know, Sweden is a better option. Norway is a better option. I feel like there are other countries that are way better, like a lot better than the United States, but people are obsessed with the ghetto United States. So, you know, I think that, you know, for some reason it draws people in there. I think this is like popular culture, social media, television, things of that nature. I feel like the country is not as is not as good as maybe it could be. I feel like there's a big room for improvement. I also feel like Mexico probably once was a really, really bad country as far as economically, corruption, all these other things. Like I feel, but I see Mexico's improvement. Like I can see how the economy is improving. I can see how you know what I'm saying, like the government is changing. I can see how, like, you know what I'm saying, socially is changing. So I don't know. I kind of vote more for the positive change that I'm seeing now in Mexico opposed to the negative change that I'm seeing in the US. I feel like the US is spending most of its money and its time to try and like change the change that had happened to make it better, to make it worse. That's just my opinion, right? Send me a picture. The US wouldn't be a better option if we didn't have the USD, but you use the USD and go elsewhere. There are jobs in Mexico that pays well if you are an educated person. So even with that argument, even if you took away the USD, even if you did and you went to working on a peso-based system, if you are an educated person, you could still find meaningful employment in Mexico. So I agree, but I disagree. You know, could I be retired here in Mexico? If my, would I be retired? Probably not. Am I retired on the USD here? Yes. But again, even if I decided to retire, say because Merida is more expensive. Let's keep it real. Merida is more expensive than a lot of states in the U.S. Let's just keep it 100. I could go back to Arkansas and live, less than what I'm living here in Merida. Like, let's just, let's just keep it 100. So with that being said, could I retire in Arkansas? I could, but would I want to retire in Arkansas? Absolutely not. Like, let's just be honest. My phone was dead. I couldn't get a picture. Sorry. She gonna keep this story up. Still studying for our next trip. That's tough. I'm gonna hit up when I tell him to send you a picture so you can have one since your phone ain't dead. Okay, so you just gonna feed into the delusion. Right. Okay, so Chris, you gonna feed into her delusion about seeing Snoop Dogg, and now you know Snoop Dogg, and you gonna tell Snoop Dogg to send her a picture. Okay. All right, good. When we taking a trip to Belize a good week? Ooh, yeah, we should plan a trip to Belize. I'm here for a trip to Belize. I am here for a trip to Belize. Merida is definitely expensive for people to be moving here without income. I 100% agree. I feel like the YouTube videos, like Charles said earlier, they're so old. I think that a lot of people are going on outdated information. Where people are talking about they found a luxury apartments for, $400 and $500 a month here and stuff like that. Oh, that's not flying. That does not fly. The Mexican government has raised the minimum wage twice since some of those videos have come out. So every time they increase the minimum wage and increase the earnings, everything goes up. Inflation has hit Merida hard. Okay, inflation has hit Merida hard, and it's not just from U.S. and Canadian and European expats. It's from people moving from Mexico City. Okay, like people moving from high ass Mexico City to Merida. It has also caused inflation, caused for things to go up. So, you just got to be real about what's going on in that general area. And again, if you're looking at those, outdated videos, although the information is generally relative, those prices and those numbers, they don't stick. You know what I'm saying? They don't they don't stick like they used to. So yeah, it's unrealistic. And landlords, as soon as they see that blue passport, they immediately go into thinking, hey, I need more money. I want more money, because it's the name of the game around here. The people in Mexico want to practice their English instead of speaking Spanish. That's true. They do. At times, I get so frustrated because I want to practice my Spanish. And so now it's just got to the point where I speak to them in Spanish and they'll speak to me in English. And somehow I say, did I say that right now? I say, yeah, they're correct, something, or whatnot. No, those are specials, you know what we call them. Seen a house for 500 USD earlier for rent, and it looked like her Harpo juke joint. She, uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, but again, you know those prices do exist, but that's not the expectation. People want the brand new build, luxury high rise. They want, they want that for 500 USD. They don't want Harpo's juke joint. They don't want, Sketch Ave. They want the nicest of nice when it comes down to it. My passport in blue is, your passport cover says Wakanda, but the book inside the cover is still the good old fashioned United States of America blue passport. It's all the same, but it's okay. I'm gonna let you live. I look forward to my trip next year to visit. Yeah, I'm sure you will love it when you come to visit next year. Okay. Let's see. I hope I hit everything. I made notes. I was prepared. But my laptop is upstairs. Did I miss anything else? Oh, dating. I touched on it in regards to the food and livelihood. Okay. Some people, I'm not gonna say that people are dating recklessly, but I don't know how else to say it without saying protect yourself when dating. Men and women. This is not a woman only type thing, okay? Men and women. And I'm gonna speak to men first, okay? Men, a lot of the guys, they go abroad and they see all the beautiful ladies, this, that, the third. They get them, they take them back to the room, Next thing you know, they wake up and their wallet is missing, and their passport is missing, their watch is missing, their phone is missing, whatever they could carry with them in a little hoochie bag on the way out the door. I think men should protect themselves just as much as women protect themselves. All right, because the reality is you're gonna be an easy target because they're gonna hit you with that one special move that they do, and you're gonna be knocked out drooling on yourself, snoring, and they're gonna clean you out. And if they just clean you out, they don't take everything, including rolling your suitcase out the door. All right, so be cautious of that. Be cautious when dating people, because there are stories of they go out with a girl, next thing you know, her and her cousin got them hemmed up at the local ATM robbing them. Okay, I think that's another thing. Be cautious. Protect yourself. Don't overdrink, don't overindulge, don't overconsume alcohol, drugs. Bring your own drugs. I don't even know why I have to say this, but I know that people use drugs. We know people use drugs. It's not a secret thing anymore. People openly use drugs now. Okay, if you gonna use drugs, do not ask the young lady or the young man that you're going out on dates with to be the person to provide you with your drugs. Bring your own drugs, okay? Because you don't know what they're gonna put in your drugs. You don't know who you're gonna have to go see to get these drugs, and you don't know how much it's gonna actually cost you if you do get the drugs. Okay, so be cautious. All right. Be cautious and be wary. You know what I'm saying? Have a little bit of, does this person mean me good? Be wary. Ladies, same thing. Don't go to people's houses. Okay, just because they cool, y'all had a good time, you don't want the date to be over, go sit at a park and talk. All right, go sit in a mall, go sit at a bar, at a restaurant, drinking some lemonade. Do something, stay in a public place. Do not go to their house. Do not go to their hotel rooms because you don't know them, okay? You should not be alone in rooms with people that you have not known and that you have not seen. I don't care how long you have talked to them online. I don't care how long you have been messaging back and forth with them. Do not do that. Do not go into private spaces with them, okay? and do that. And have the strength to say no. No is a whole sentence. Look at them and say no. It's okay. No, I don't want to do it. I'm not going. No, thank you. What kind of person do you think I am? Even if you're thinking about like, hey, I might want to go back to this person's room, be mindful enough, right? Because the first couple times you're meeting somebody, you don't really truly know that person, right? You need to get to fully know that person before you get to engaging in activities with these people, right? Because again, everybody shows up with their representative, their fake persona when they're meeting people, okay? So be cautious, all right? Because you don't know if you end up and you go there, you think you walking into the room. Same thing for men too. You think you're the only person walking into an empty house with another person, and you walk in there and there's two other people waiting on you. You don't know what you're walking into. So be cautious. Again, share your location with people. Dating is whack, you shouldn't do it. I don't agree with that. Dating is great in Mexico. I do agree with that. 1600 US. What happened was 1600 US? Yes, 1600. Tijuana is expensive compared to Merida. I believe that. It's by San Diego, and San Diego is high. Wow, the only thing expensive about Merida is the electric bill. Yeah. Energy changes my body once my feet touch the ground in Mexico. I don't know what it is. I just feel much better. I agree. Don't be one. It is dangerous. Pepper spray legal in Mexico? I don't know. Is pepper spray legal in Mexico? That's a good question. I don't know the answers to that. That's a good question. I don't know if pepper spray is legal in Mexico. Never be alone. I don't know if it's never be alone, but be alone wisely. Like, you can go on a date with somebody. You know, you can go on a date with them. You can go out to eat with them. I'm just saying, don't put yourself in a situation where you're vulnerable. Like, just try to protect yourself. You know, try to think smart about situations that you put yourself into. You know, have a little morals. You know, just thinking, you know, is this the story you want your family to, you know, you was unalive, you know what I'm saying, with your panties around your ankles? Like, is that the story you want your family to, like, I'm just saying, you know, just think about how you're representing yourself as a person, as a woman, as a man. You know, I know some men, like Kinetic, some of them don't have no morals. You know, some men just don't have no morals. They just loose cannons. You know what I'm saying? They just, you know, they ladies men. Some men are like that. But that doesn't mean everybody should be like that. Try to have a little morals. And don't just let, you know, any old person put their hands on you. It's just what it comes down to, especially when traveling abroad. I mean, traveling in the States. I mean, femicide is high everywhere. It's high in Mexico. It's high in the United States. It's high in the UK. It's high that, you know, the femicide is high everywhere. Okay, so ladies, think about it and be careful. I know that a lot of people get lonely, right? Living abroad, one of the hardest things I think about, you know what I'm saying, you know, one of the things that I think about is the hardest is being single, right? And it's kind of hard now for me to have this conversation now that I'm dating somebody, but still at the same time, being single, there's nothing wrong with being single. Being single, as long as you're making sure that you're protecting yourself and you're not just ending up with anybody for the sake of being with anybody. And I think that's what it comes down to, right? We hear stories all the time where woman's like, I can't get this man to move out of my house. I can't get rid of him. You know, he got all his stuff here. I asked him to leave, he won't leave. He don't have nowhere to go. And so they're stuck living with somebody that they don't want to live with, right? Because they just moved in and because of, it was just convenient for him to leave his stuff here because we was together every day. So I said, oh, well, hey, why not you just move in? Next thing you know, they got a stranger in their house because, you know, the high wore off and they realize they don't even like that person. You know, and it's what it comes down to. Think about your safety. Prioritize your safety. Single moms, prioritize your safety. You know, when you out partying, consuming, beverages and whatnot, think about your safety, because the reality is you have a whole some people, several persons to get home to, and you need to make sure that you are in the right frame of mind to take care of those little people that depend on you, who don't have no more. Yeah. No morals. So these are all things that you have to think about when traveling abroad. The other thing that I just remembered is how to deal with the police. Listen, sometimes if you're doing something illegal in Mexico, you may need to provide some financial compensation to get yourself out of trouble. Okay? What do I think is the best approach in these situations? I think 500 pesos is the best approach to these situations, right? For some reason, 500 pesos seems to be the golden ticket to get you out of crazy stuff in Mexico. So if you find yourself in a sticky situation where you may be doing something you didn't have any business and you don't want to get hemmed up in a Mexico jail, I'm just saying 500 pesos may be the solution to your problem. It may be more than that depending on the level of the problem that you have. That's all I'm saying, because I don't know if I'm gonna get banned for for encouraging that type of behavior. But just be mindful, right? Because not all of us always travel in the right lane. Sometimes you're gonna be doing something you don't have no business, or doing it not knowing that it's not necessarily the law. The best thing you can do is learn the laws, but you're not gonna learn every single law that there is. So you could be doing something not knowing that it's illegal, and you can end up in a sketchy situation. And in that situation, maybe try 500 pesos and see if it works. That's all I'm saying. And see if 500 pesos can work to get you out of it. Yes, that 500 pesos has saved me many times. Yeah, 500 pesos. I'm just saying, because if you just happen to, magically end up on the table and you make some eye contact with somebody, it just happens like that. You know what I'm saying? Fold it up in the palm of the hand and a quick handshake. 500 pesos can prevent you from, $5,000 issues. That's that, okay? The police, yes, there's police corruption everywhere. It's not a Mexico thing, that's a worldwide thing. But just keep in mind that, especially if you don't know the language, you don't know customs, you may inadvertently do something wrong, and just try to, do the best you can to get yourself out of that situation, okay? Especially if you don't know enough of the language, all right? I think that was it. I think that's all I had to say. I'm sure I forgot something, but I think I got everything that's important, especially when it comes to dating. Just be mindful, okay? Just be cautious. And that does not only mean like local, dating a local. You're a foreigner dating a local. That's foreigner to foreigner too. That's anybody, right? That's anybody. So I also don't want to make that, I don't want to make that a thing either. If you're just dating, because you're dating somebody from Mexico, Mexican men or Mexican women, is that no? It could be the same. It could be the same around. There are people here. There are, American women here that are financially strapped, just like a local woman here, and she may be willing to set you up and run a play on you herself. Okay, so keep these things in mind when you're out here in these dating streets, men and women. I think it's more. I think I was thinking more towards men on a date. Okay. Is there anything else? Any more questions that anybody has? Or for me, let me know. Are there any more questions? Because we've been on 80 minutes. That's a long time. That's a long time. That's a long time. Somebody's alarm is going off. I got all the questions. Purple is youth joint. Purple is youth joint. Y'all, I'm gonna find my mic this week. I am. I'm gonna find it. Okay, I don't know. How hard was it for your daughter school-wise? My daughter is homeschooled. She's homeschooled. She loves it. I like it too because we used to fight in the morning, and it wasn't worth it. But I like it too. I'm better able to track her progress in different subjects. Where before she just got A's and I just assumed, oh, you know, she knew everything. When in reality, she just was coasting. She wasn't challenged. So I do like now that I can provide her more of a challenge. There are a ton of kids that go to school here. The popular school in this area is Smartium. A lot of kids go there, and the parents seem to love it. It's a technology-based school, and they have after-school activities like swimming and dance, soccer, a whole bunch of other stuff. Don't let me lie about all the activities. And I would like for my daughter to go to school, but she doesn't want to get up in the morning. So that's just where we at in life. But most of those kids, there are tons of expat kids, and they do half the day in English and half the day in Spanish. So even for the local kids that are Spanish speakers, they are they're learning English, and the English speaking kids are learning Spanish. When the kids graduate 12th grade, they get dual diplomas for the United States and Mexico. So I do think that that is a definite bonus, especially if your child, say, wants to go back to the U.S. for college or something like that. I do think that that is a bonus for them. So yeah, check out Smartium. If you're in any of Facebook groups, ask them about the different types of schools. I can't necessarily vouch for one. That's just the one that most people I know. Smartium or Rogers Hall is the one I know that most kids go to. Okay. Any more questions? You're welcome. Charles, when you having a housewarming party so we can come over and crash your party? We gonna pull up. Okay, y'all. I think that's it. I hope everyone has a really, y'all know what? Every time I do a live, I forget to feed my dog. And I straight up said before I got on live, I said, I'm gonna feed the dog so he doesn't start fussing at me during the live, because y'all gonna think I don't feed my dog when I really do take really good care of my dog. But I still didn't feed him, and now he's sitting here staring at me like, where's my food? Like I'm telling you, it's bad. Okay, but yeah, everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving tomorrow if you are having Thanksgiving tomorrow. If you are not having Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving tomorrow and you are working, enjoy your day at work. If you're not enjoying Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving and you just chilling at the house, enjoy your relaxation at your house, okay? I will be back next Wednesday at 6 p.m. here on this channel. Uploads are Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, or share. Until next time, bye.